Fox 61 breaking news now.
We are following breaking news here at 6. The water superintendent in Waterbury has resigned after he was accused of misconduct. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Annette Montgomery. The mayor says the city uncovered that misconduct during its ongoing investigation into water flow issues. Fox 61's Tim Latow has the latest on this development.
You might recognize the name Bradley Millay. He's been at the forefront as the city has dealt with multiple water main breaks over the last few months. Now city leaders say Millay has engaged in misconduct during his time as water superintendent. Waterbury suffered catastrophic water main breaks during the fall and winter. Some caused people to lose water for multiple days and took weeks to repair. Some of the infrastructure is more than 130 years old. And as the city is seeking federal aid to help mitigate future main breaks, it has also been investigating its water flow issues. The city says Millay was asked about the alleged misconduct during an interview on Wednesday. He then declined to answer and resigned on the spot. The city says it's now in the process of filling the water superintendent position and is actively scheduling interviews with candidates. Assistant Water Superintendent Chris Savage will oversee the day-to-day operations of the Bureau of Water with help from the city's water distribution consultant. The mayor's office declined our request for an interview. We'll keep you updated as we continue to learn more information. In Waterbury, Tim Latow, Fox 61.
Thank you, Tim. And a little more than an hour ago, we learned an inmate at the Hartford Correctional Center has died. The Department of Corrections says 20-year-old Jason Johnson was checked out by medical staff around 10:30 this morning. He was taken to a hospital, and officials say he was alert when he left the correctional center. But shortly after arriving at the hospital, he died. State police and the Office of Inspector General are investigating, and the medical examiner will determine the cause of death. Right now to our top story. Just a few weeks after an Avon daycare worker was arrested and fired for allegedly sexually assaulting a child, the daycare itself announced it is closing.
The final day for the daycare, called Bright Path, will be on May 22nd. Until then, they will remain open while families find other options. Fox 61's Jamel Johnson spoke with a mother who was one of the first to pull her children from the daycare after those allegations came out.
It's not an abrupt closing here at Bright Path in Avon, but it only gives families a month to find alternative sources of child care. Attorneys working closely with families after the sexual assault allegations say the closing of the daycare complicates things as they move forward. In an unexpected announcement Wednesday, Avon's Bright Path location said it will close its doors in a few weeks amid an investigation into Jean Carlos Berrios Otero, a daycare worker who police arrested on sexual assault charges. Part of their statement said, quote, "After careful consideration, we have determined that it is in the best interest of our children and families to take this course of action. We believe they deserve an experience without the disruption that Bright Path Avon has faced in recent weeks." Attorney Eric Schoenberg is working with dozens of families who could have been affected.
One of the difficulties with the daycare closing is that there are limited options for childcare, and so a lot of parents are kind of scrambling right now to try to find a place where they can trust. Not only is availability an issue, but going back to that trust issue, trust is hard right now because their trust is broken.
That sentiment is shared among families right now, including a mother we spoke with shortly after the arrest was made. She wanted to remain anonymous.
I lost trust in private daycare centers. My first priority and always priority is about my child safety and well-being. This is not just about one incident, but it kind of raises concerns or it is a warning sign to Bright Path not to ignore any complaints from parents.
This mother took her child out of the daycare soon after the arrest was made. She says she had made several complaints to the daycare before police involvement.
Our kids went to that daycare for years, and we really want to know what happened with our kids. My kids do have right to know what happened to them. Kids, majority of times, they don't know what happened to them or they cannot speak for themselves.
Schoenberg believes families may never know the full truth of what happened during the time Berrios Otero was employed there.
A lot of times the children get confused about what's okay and what's not okay, because what's okay for a mom and dad is not necessarily okay for a daycare teacher. So it becomes very complicated, and so many times these children don't even know what's going on is wrong. And so it's hard to get that information and figure it out.
Attorney Schoenberg urges any family who had their child attend the Bright Path in Avon in the past 6 years to reach out to the law firm, as they could have been affected. In Avon, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.
Jamel, thank you. To the weather now. Take a look at this video of a mama bear and her cubs enjoying the warmer and brighter day today in Torrington, climbing trees and running around and basically doing the things bears do. Gorgeous day out there today. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank is here now with a look at the forecast. Rach, the mercury's going to go back down, but it's not going to plummet.
Right. I think temperatures are just closer to average tomorrow. So instead of near 70, we're closer to the 60-degree mark, but still pleasant out there for your Friday as well. And I'm sure the bears will be out once again. You can see the sunshine has started to get filtered by some clouds, so we'll continue to see the clouds roll in tonight. There is a chance for an isolated shower overnight into about daybreak tomorrow, but most of us won't see one. Here's a look at the numbers currently. We're in the upper 60s to around 70 for Hartford, Meriden, New Haven, mid-60s for the Waterbury area and for Torrington. And that wind has been really noticeable today, gusting up around 25 miles per hour. Here's a look at those clouds that are continuing to increase. The wind will slowly diminish tonight, and there's just a little bit of moisture again, so a slight chance for a shower around daybreak. Overall, though, we're looking at temperatures tonight that will settle back right around 40 degrees. For some reason, this graphic always has trouble catching up and showing the trend. But here we go for Friday. Any early clouds break for sunshine. Temperatures will be in the mid-50s at noon, and we'll see high temperatures close to 60 degrees as we head towards the end of the day. And again, not as much wind as we had out there today. We have some rain for Saturday. We'll talk about the timing and who gets the most coming up.
All right, Rachel, thank you. Amtrak is taking Metro-North to court, accusing it of blocking key train movements and disrupting service in the process. Amtrak says those denials are delaying inspections, slowing trains, and even canceling trips. As of now, there have been no clear or widespread Connecticut impacts reported, but Amtrak says because they share the same tracks, any escalation could affect Connecticut service, especially along the New Haven corridor. Metro-North said in a statement that it's working on a project to stop trains from blowing by without stopping and improve commute times. This issue is now headed to arbitration, but Amtrak says it can't wait and has asked a judge to step in now and restore operations before the problems get worse.
A person was hospitalized after suffering burns following a fire earlier this morning. You're taking a look at video from the scene. You can see the damage from that fire right there. Now, officials also tell us a dog was rescued. This comes after fire crews say a camper caught fire and spread to that home you see there. Now, this happened on Heritage Drive around 1:10 a.m. 9 fire departments worked together to put out that fire. Officials haven't released the conditions of the person rescued. And this afternoon, the cause of the fire is still under investigation.
Well, Hartford police say 2 men were shot last night. They say they are expected to be okay. We're told it happened around 9:45 near Prospect and Sheldon Streets near the Hartford Public Library. Officers say a man in his 20s and a 19-year-old were hospitalized. Right now, we don't know what led to the shooting.
And take a look at this video we just got into our newsroom today of a man sucker punching a New Haven police officer earlier this week. Police say Myron Mullins banged on the hood of a police cruiser like he needed help. And when that officer got out, this happened. You're taking a look at surveillance footage from the New Haven Police Department. Police tell us that officer has some bruises and cuts on his face, but is expected to be okay. In the video, you can also see other officers step in to get Mullins off of the officer and take him into custody. Officials also say this is not the first time Mullins has done something like this. It's reported in the past he's also damaged police vehicles.
A Waterbury man admitted to starving and illegally dumping a dog in Wolcott. Police say Dane Putner told them he couldn't afford to care for her. We reported earlier this year that a dead dog was found near a walking trail. Investigators say DNA testing revealed she was the mother of 2 emaciated puppies who were taken to a vet by Putner. Detectives say he told them he found them and wanted to help, but then later said he was in fact their owner. Putner is being held on a $200,000 bond tonight. The case marks the first time this type of DNA technology has been used in an animal cruelty investigation here in Connecticut.
And we have a breaking news update in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. 1 person is dead and 5 others are hurt after a shooting at the Mall of Louisiana. Officials initially reported 10 people injured. Police say now 5 people have been arrested. Now, this happened around 1:30 in the afternoon in the food court. Authorities say two groups argued and then started shooting at each other. Of course, we'll keep you updated as soon as we learn any more information.
Well, the Justice Department is now under internal investigation over its handling of the Epstein files. The Inspector General says a review will focus on how the DOJ found, redacted, and released records. The investigation will also look at how the department dealt with problems after the files were made public. Congress passed a law last year ordering the release of the vast collection of files from investigations into convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. That was after the DOJ failed to release thousands of the documents as promised.
Well, just moments ago, President Donald Trump said Israel and Lebanon have agreed to extend a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah by 3 weeks after talks at the White House.
In the meantime, the White House says Iran is having a hard time figuring out who their leader is, which is stalling further peace talks and any potential deal to end the war. Rebecca Castor has the latest from Washington.
From masked Iranian soldiers seizing trade ships to American forces blocking Iran's ports and intercepting Iranian-linked ships. The U.S. and Iran are both trying to tighten their grip on the Strait of Hormuz.
We have total control of the strait. They came to us and they said, we will agree to open the strait. And all my people were happy. Everybody was happy except me. I said, wait a minute, if we open the strait, that means they're going to make $500 million a day. I don't want them to make $500 million a day until they settle this thing.
President Trump has now ordered the U.S. Navy to shoot any Iranian boats, even small ones, laying mines in the strait, putting the ceasefire at risk. But there's been little to no progress on peace talks.
I have no confidence that we're going to get anything in the next few days. We don't know who is in charge.
President Trump says Iran is having a very hard time figuring out who their leader is. The infighting between the hardliners and the moderates is crazy. In response, Iran's lead negotiator says, in Iran, there are no radicals or moderates. We are all Iranian. With complete obedience to the supreme leader, we will make the aggressor criminal regret his actions.
I think we're on another verge of another miscalculation here. And they're betting on the fact they kick this can down the road, drag it out. The president will not pull the trigger.
President Trump says there is no time pressure on the ceasefire, but a third aircraft carrier strike group, the USS George H.W. Bush, arrives in the coming days. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox 61.